Remember, once you get to the last cell in a row, if you press the tab key, it regenerates a new row. Now once you've completed entering the text that goes inside the table, the next thing that we're going to do is to make this table look pretty. Now I mentioned before when we worked with another object that we're going to be basically every time that we work with an object, we'll most likely be changing the style associated with that object, and that's exactly what we're going to do right now. While the cursor is inside the table, we're going to be going into table tools, looking at the table styles, click the more button, and we're going to be looking for one called medium grid 3 accent 4. Scroll down on your list, and then as you point at each one, it will tell you where it is. Now I have the medium grid 3 accent 4. Now just point and click at it. Now that particular style changes the color of some of the entries in here for the heading, okay, and for the selections right here. What I would like to do right now is to try to get the best fit for the entries within this table. Right now, every column in here has the exact same width. Well, I could tell Microsoft Word to basically find me the best fit in here. Now I could do it manually. I could, for instance, point at this horizontal line here, vertical line, okay, in between the columns, and if I click and drag, I can change the column width. Okay, I'm going to undo. Instead, I'm going to have Microsoft Word do that for me. First, click the layout button. Then look under auto fit, and then click auto fit contents. Again, if you find that this is a little too crowded, you can always move the column width by pointing at the vertical lines in between the columns, and when you see that crossbar, you click and drag. Now let me scroll my document up so that I can see the table completely. Now I notice that my entries in these cells doesn't really look right. It would be better if I had all these entries be nice and center. So to do that, I'm going to select that area. I'm going to point at the top of this column. Now notice that my they're horizontally on the page. So to do that, I'm going to point inside the table, and then I'm going to click at the select all for the table. And once I have the whole table selected, I'm going to give the order that says center. Now to do that, I could do it with the keyboard, Control E, or I could go to the Home tab and then ask for center. So now my table is nice and centered. Now I have already created my table here, but after I do that, I realized that it would be nice if I had an extra row at the very top of my table that basically would describe what this table is about. So I would like to put an extra row that says monthly issue advertisement rates. Now to do that, I'm going to go to the first cell in my table, and now I'm going to insert a row by going to the layout tab, and then I'm going to pick insert above, and notice that I just got an extra row in here. The same thing that we just did with rows, we could have done with columns. If you would like to insert a column, you go to the cell where you want the column to be inserted, and then you can go with the insert left or insert right. Now looking at this row right here, I don't want to have 5 different boxes, 5 different cells. Instead, I would like to have one single cell where I can put my title, my heading nicely centered. So to do that, I'm going to point to the outside of this table, and at the height of the first row I'm going to give one click. That means select the row, and by doing that I'm selecting all the different boxes. At this point I can then merge those cells. I can do that by clicking merge cells, or I can also do it by right clicking at the height of this row and then selecting merge cells. So I'm going to do it this way. So now I see that this is a single box. Now I'm going to go right ahead and type the text that I want in there, which is monthly issue advertisement rates. At this point my table is done, so I'm going to click right after the table at the paragraph mark. I'm going to hit one additional enter, and now I'm going to type in some additional extra text in there. So I'm gonna type, please note that additional fees will be assessed if the word or picture counts exceeds the limits listed above. We offer the following discounts, : Now after you type this, hit enter, and what we're going to do right now is to generate bulleted text. So text that has bullets at the beginning. So to do that, we're going to go to the Home tab, and in the paragraph group we have the selection called bullets, and you could press it from here. You could select them from here. Now a keyboard shortcut to do the exact same thing is to type an asterisk, and then when you press the space bar, it automatically turns that into a bullet. Notice that the bullets are already turned on in here. So now we're going to type 10% discount for any advertisement that runs in 3 consecutive issues. Now when you complete the first bullet, the first text for the bullet, hit enter, and automatically you get another bullet. This time you're going to type 5% discount for a camera ready advertisement prepared using Microsoft Word at the proper size and with all words and photos in final layout form. Once again, hit enter. It generates another bullet, and then type 3% discount if payment in full is submitted with order. Now we hit enter, and it automatically generates another bullet. Now if you would like to turn off the bullets without pointing and clicking, all you have to do is to press the enter key once again, and that turns off the bullets and brings the cursor back to the left margin. Now hit enter once again to separate the bullets from the text by having an extra space, and type the next paragraph. Once you finish entering that text, hit enter and enter again. Now we need to move the insertion point to the 4-inch position. Since we created this tab stop way before at the beginning of the letter, it's still retained. Every time that you hit enter, it's retained, so it's still here. So we can press the tab key, and right away we're at that specific distance. We can type sincerely, comma, and then enter 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then again press the tab key. You're going to type Frank Urbanczyk, hit enter again, then press tab again to go back to the same position, and type present. At this point, go ahead and save your work. So Control S.